doorway of my ruin, light bending around the edges of your name. You spoke, and the dust inside my chest lifted like a hymn, trying to remember how to rise again. I told you softly you were the first warmth I'd felt in a winter made of years. You touched my hand and something fragile in me shifted, a glass heart, learning how to hear. I said you saved me from the quiet that was killing slow. I said your voice was the gospel I'd been waiting to know. You thought it was gratitude, gentle and sincere. You didn't see the altar forming when you came near. Let me build my faith from the way you breathe. Let me carve your kindness into everything I need. You call this gentle healing, you call this being whole, but devotion turns to doctrine in a glass heart gospel. I memorized your footsteps like scripture on the floor, each one a verse I whispered when the nights grew thin. You laughed and the sound felt like a blessing, a fragile miracle I wanted under my skin. You said you don't need to worship me with a smile too soft to understand, but faith is a dangerous thing when it starts to demand. Every word you spoke became a rule I couldn't break. Every silence you held became a vow I had to take. You thought it was devotion, gentle, warm and whole. You didn't see the doctrine forming around your soul. Let me build my faith from the way you breathe. Let me carve your kindness into everything I need. You call this gentle healing, you call this being whole, but devotion turns to doctrine in a glass heart gospel. You whispered, what happens if I fall? And the world went still around your fear. I touched your cheek with reverence sharp enough to cut and said, if you fall, I fall with you, and I'll drag you down beautifully from here. My voice stayed soft, my faith stayed calm, but the doctrine finally closed its palm. Let me build my faith, let me build my faith from the way you breathe, from the way you breathe. Let me carve your kindness into everything I need. You call this gentle healing, you call this being whole, but devotion turns to doctrine in a glass heart gospel. tremble under the weight of what I mean. I'll whisper a hymn with notes that crack between. Stay